at one point, and no seat belts in the truck, so I had like a death grip on the seat frame. And there's Hey there, and welcome to Matt's Garage and Car Stories with Matt. When I was about 18, 19 years old, I was hanging around with a bunch of Filipinos actually that had come to work in the area. We actually were all working in the same pig barn at the time, and as I mentioned in a previous story, I worked with pigs for a while, and I actually that's kind of how I met my wife, is through her sister, who I was working with, her older sister. And so it was during this time that they had met some other people in the area, some other Filipinos, and so we went over to visit this other couple, and it was another Canadian that was married to a Filipino lady, and he worked on the pipeline, and like a lot of pipeliners, he liked to drink, and so this was largely a drinking party, which at the time I drank quite a bit myself, I guess. So I was okay with that, and went and kind of enjoyed this party for the Saturday afternoon or whatever with my friends. And turns out the host of the party was a big car guy too, and he had quite a few project vehicles parked around the yard. So, you know, we're all just kind of sipping our beers and walking around, a few of us car guys talking about his projects and the history he has with these vehicles. And we got to this early 60's Dodge, I guess, a sweep line, I believe they call it. These trucks have become pretty popular in recent years, but at this time they weren't really too mainstream. They were kind of an oddball pickup. And anyways, he was really into these trucks, and this one in particular had been in his life since he was a teenager type thing. And it was the same old story where the guy who owned it didn't want to sell it, and he bugged him for like 20 years. It was, you know, sitting in some guy's backyard for 20 years, just rotting away. And finally, after it had deteriorated a bunch, the guy reneged and sold the truck to him. And so you know, he was telling us that story and his plans to restore this truck and everything. And I asked if it ran, which was a bit of a mistake, because as I said, we were drinking, and I hadn't had too many, but he had had many, and he was very anxious to prove to me that yes, indeed, his truck did run, and it had a flat tire on it and stuff. So that's the thing I never envisioned when I asked that a few minutes later we'd be riding around the yard in this very truck. But that's in fact what happened. He very quickly found a gas-powered air compressor and wheeled over and pumped up the tires, and it had a good battery in it, and it flashed right up. And he lived on this acreage. This didn't happen on public roads or anything, but there was like a farmer's field like right off his yard. And so he took me for a ride out in the field. Like he really was being pretty aggressive. He was I remember he was talking about, oh yeah, I'm a old school hot rodder and this kind of thing. And you know, it was kind of one of those situations where I wasn't too keen to take the ride, but in the same breath I kind of wanted to ride in the old truck. That's always fun. And I figured, you know, it's just out in the field. You know, he's just gonna putt around the field and show me this truck. And you know, that wasn't what happened. He was just right to the boards and sliding it around out there. And I really genuinely thought we were gonna flip over or something at one point. And no seat belts in the truck, so I had like a death grip on the seat frame, and there's all this mouse crap and stuff flying up out of the dash at me. And anyways, it turns out we ended up unscathed, headed back for the yard, and the truck had started to heat up a bit and stuff. That's how rough he was being on it. But in the end, we safely parked it back in the corner of the yard, and I've since learned not to ask drunk people to prove if their vehicles run or not. So bit of a learning experience for me there. Thanks a lot for watching Matt's Garage. I do hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.